Hi guys, it's Rachel here, and we are doing yet another Roxy's Journal of Stitchery video. And today we are working on my cluster, and so I'll explain what a cluster is, and I'm going to do a tab maybe. So I was thinking on this one. I had said in my video I was going to do a Christmas tree, but I think I'm going to make a cluster to go on here. So let's just pull this page out. It's not finished yet, and I might make a tab for my other page when that comes. So with a cluster is like, Sarah showed it in her video, but it's like when you've got little bits and pieces of things, like, oh, isn't that pretty? I mean, you just sort of pick up your bits and pieces. Now that's a pretty cluster. Oh, hello. And you pick up your bits and pieces and you cluster them together. It's a grouping of things. And it's so funny. Like Sarah did this random video. Like she picked up these random bits in her video last week. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, I really like those. I really like those. I have to tell Sarah I really like those. And then she said in her video, like after I was thinking that, oh, I really like that. And so anyway, then we chatted, and she had said in her video she was going to keep it because it was really great. So it's like when you sit down, like I sat down and I was purposely doing it, and I like that a lot less than I like that. I love that. So what I'm going to do is reverse it over here. Oh no, now I've messed it up. I don't know how I had it. Reverse it over here. Now it's not going to work because I liked it over there. I'm going to reverse it over here. Yes, I do like it. Put that down further. And you want to see all your fabrics. So that's, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, Sarah just randomly picked them up and she loved what she did. And I've randomly picked these up. And I really like how they turn, you know, the look of them. I think I like that more. Maybe a bit more like, no. See, now I'm becoming too purposeful and I'm not liking it as much. Maybe that was more there. I've messed it up now. But anyway, I'm going to go with it, is what I'm going to do. And that is going to stick on there. And it is clashy. I might take a little bit of this off. It is clashy as. And that suits me just fine. I love a bit of clash. So that's going to go on there. I could even throw in another bit. I might throw in another bit, you see. Who knows? But I'm going to pin those together. That's a cluster. The reason why we did cluster and or tag, and it can be an and or, you could go ahead and make a cluster for every single page. Like we say one, but that's only because we're not pushing you too hard, you know, to do more than one, because some people are really busy. But, you know, you need all these little sorts of bits and pieces, and you just sort of pick them up and cluster them. But, you know, a cluster could also double up as a tab, like that's going to stick out the side. Now, where's my book? Over here. So, this might be a quick video. But just say this is my page. Oh, now just a minute. This is not working. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. See, this is going to be on this side. But what I'll do is I'll do a switcheroo and put it on that side. Because this is the spot where I wanted to put it. And then when I'm in my book, you see, it's going to stick out the side. So that one's going to go on there. It is. I'll put my other page, my next page on there when we do that. So I might make a couple of clusters. And then I might have a think about a tab. And, you know, you don't have to make one. If you get inspired and you want to make a few, make a few. There's no one stopping you. There's no one stopping you from making a few. So, what do I need? I need my thread. Can't find my thread. Oh, here it is right in front of my face. Okay, I need this thread because I'm just going to lock it all in. I also need to get some sticky, you know, some masking tape and clean off my mat. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Oh, I could use maybe my, you know, attachment of my vacuum cleaner. That would do it. And then you can do random stitching, and you can add all kinds of bits and pieces to your cluster. You could add some buttons. You can do laces. I've got a yo-yo here. You can do all kinds of things. So I'm just going to stitch all my bits together. Whoops. I'm just going to use overcast stitch. Hello. Now, I am starting to go a bit loopy, guys. I've done how many videos today? Three stitching videos. I've done all my videos in one day. So, yes, it does make for loopiness. And you can do as little or as much embroidery as you like. I've got to be careful because I've already done my other page for next week and I can't reveal that yet. So I've got to be careful not to show you that. And you can do as little as much embroidery. I think I just said that. So I'm just trying to stitch this onto the lace, which is not an easy task. I may only get one cluster done at this rate. Yes, a cluster is exactly what the word says. A cluster. It's a grouping of things that are clustering together. And then a tab is a tab, but a cluster can double up as a tab. Take note, it can double up as a tab. So you can have a clustery tab. There you go. Right, so I go around my, so I'm just stitching it all down together. I'm going to go to there, and then here I'm just going to do some little mini stitches and shoot across just to stitch it all down. Then I will be stitching it to my page, but not now. I'll just slip it in there because I haven't finished my page yet, so I want to finish it, and then I'll add my cluster to my page. Maybe I'm too far out. Let's just zoom in a bit. There we go. How about that? Let me tap. I can see that you're in focus, but one time it did happen that I went out of focus when I zoomed in. So I wouldn't like that to happen. Hopefully I don't go off screen because I can't actually see my phone. And I already know what I'm going to do next. Who can guess? Let's see if any of you guessed it when you see what happens. Any of those of you who know me probably can guess what I'm going to do. Oh, no, I'm not. I might not. Might not work. Just a minute. I'll have to pick up my page and double check that that will work. You see, this is not stitched, so I have to keep on going around. And then that's not stitched there, so I'll have to come back and stitch that. But I try and when I stitch these sorts of things together, I try and stitch as much as I can without having to stop. So I purposefully started up here and came around and then came around the circle. But I will have to stop and go and cut that bit. Now I'm in a very thick piece of lace here. So there you go. Like clusters just happen. Like when you sit there and intentionally do it, they don't work. They're hard. When you just sort of randomly pick things up without thinking about it, they sort of turn out a little bit more, maybe spontaneous is the word. Okay. And I just need a little bit up here to stitch this together. Excuse me. Here we go. Okay. So what I was thinking was I was going to have the little bits coming out of it, but if I bring over my page here, I've got bits coming out of that one, so I think that's going to be overkill of bits coming out of your yo-yo. So that's actually going to attach up. I might even attach it. No, I'm going to attach it like that. That's where it's going to go. I could even actually attach it on now, couldn't I? There's no reason why I couldn't. I'm not going to have that shooting out of my thing. I'm not going. I was thinking I might cantha stitch it, but I'm not going to because I'm cantha stitching my background. So I might stitch that on there. It's going to be, you can see it out the side, and I'm wondering if I want to add something else to my cluster. You can add buttons to your cluster. I don't know if I want any of these. No, I don't think so. None of those. You could add a little flower. I'm not going to add a little flower. I think, you know, I don't want too much. I don't think I want too much. You could add let's see. I don't want to cover up all my toile. I've got to add a little piece shooting out that side and then attach it. I think that's too much. I don't know. Put that there. I think I'm just going to attach that. And I think I'm going to take red and attach it with the red. And I should have red flying around here that I used to go around here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach it with, and that was a really, I mean, that's a quick cluster, isn't it? That is a quick cluster. I wonder if I should photograph it first. I didn't do much on it. I could add a laundry label to it. Maybe I should photograph that first. I'll do that first. I won't attach it in. So all I'm going to do to attach it is I'm just going to go around with red with this stitch here. Am I on screen? Yes, just. I zoom out for a minute. So I'm going to just go around with this stitch down here, the overcast or whip stitch. I'm going to whip around there, and I might just come down here just so it looks the same. But I want to photograph that before I attach it, so I won't do that in the video. So there's one cluster. That's really super simple. Where are my laundry labels? I don't actually remember which box I put them in. I got, oh, here they are. I've got boxes galore. Boxes and boxes and boxes. Anyway, I mean, I don't know if, oh, see, I'm going to add a little laundry label to it. What does that say? That's a C something. Could have that one. Oh, isn't that pretty? I mean, I don't have one. No, I like the small one. I don't have one with the right initials necessarily, so it doesn't really matter, but I am going to add that there as a little pop on my cluster. Just a little extra something, something. Oh, I'll use this piece. And so I'll attach that, and that is cluster 1. Now you could grab a, you could also grab a piece of old quilt, little piece of old quilt. They're not very, well, they can be bigger. This is quite a nice size. So I'm just I put a little stitch in the center, get through that. And then I like 2 little stitches on either side of the corner. Ow, I stabbed myself. All right. So there we go. Oh, isn't that lovely? I love that. Okay, that's cluster number 1. I say that like I'm going to make 50 million clusters, don't I? Okay. I know I zoomed out. I'll hold it up for you. There. Okay, cluster 1. I'm not overly Christmassy sort of colours, and then I'm just going to grab, oh, isn't that pretty? Grab another one. I've just got a random amount of scraps here, but I don't, you know, I know I'm gonna start to become really, on purpose, and then I won't be able to do it. See, that is all. Oh, that's lovely. That is also a cluster. I might take that red, not much on there, and go around. No, I'm going to go around that in blue. I could take a piece of this. Oh, I love that. Look at that. There's another cluster, and it just happened. I need some blue. I've just got my perle cottons out, and I'm going to use this blue. No, not that blue. I thought I might like that blue, but I changed my mind, as you do. I normally go dark, but I think I'm going to go with that one. Stick a pin in, hold everything in place so you don't mess up. Clusters are fun. They're not fun. I tell you what, they're not fun when it's not coming to you. They're not fun. The fun goes. But they are fun when they sort of happen. They just happen. They need to just happen. You can't force it. So if it's not happening, walk away and come back. Just don't do it. Let me zoom in. Okay, so I know I have to work in that little area there. Sometimes you get on a roll, and sometimes it's just struggle city. So what I want to do is little stitches. This is stitches too big. I want little stitches around my flower. Oh, I could do something different. I could do, oh no, I'll just do it like this. I've started now. I could have done running stitch around it. Would have been nice too. On the inside of the flower. You'll notice I haven't stitched down my little cantha bit yet. My antique piece of Japanese fabric. That's an antique piece of Japanese fabric. I think it's from my mum. I think it's left over from my mum. I don't throw those things out. They're useful. You need to keep all your bits. This is why we have so much stuff, because we can't throw out our bits. We need them. Sometimes a bit is worth more than a big piece. Does anybody think that? I do. Sometimes I love my little bits more than the big bits. Because the big bits, you sort of like, they're more daunting. Like, oh, I don't want to cut that sort of thing. You know, it's haughty. But when you've got little bits, you just use them. Although I do sometimes have favourite little bits that I keep putting aside because I've got to hoard them. Got to hang on to them. Oops. So pins in clusters are annoying, but I've got to get used to that. I can take that out now because this is anchored there. See how useful it is to have these little cut out, little applique sort of bits. Oh, that pin wants to annoy me even on the mat. You know, these are some of my favourite colour combos, is blue, red and white, or off-white, or ecru, or whatever. You can see it's a big go-to for me. It happens quite often. So yeah, my clusters can double up as tabs because they can hang off the side. So yeah, as I said, you can, you know, if you've done, you know, we've got the feature, but you can have multiple of that one feature throughout your journal of stitchery. There's no sort of rule as to how many. At least the only rule is the minimum one. So if you enjoyed making the tag, I think I've seen some people have made more than one tag. Absolutely go for it. Make as many as you feel like. And you may not use all of them. You might make a few clusters and then you might think, oh, I'm not going to stick that in a journal. So, you know, they're good things to have. If you're on a roll, make a few, because they're good things to have ready in a basket or a box or a tin, and pull it out when you need it. So we're nearly there. So I just want to try something, because my mind goes forward as I'm sitting here stitching. It thinks of things pop into the brain that can be, you know, from the beginning to the end, they can be forgotten. You see, that's not stitched down yet. So what's popped into my mind is, where's my page? Oh, here. Just say this was going on this page. What's popped into my mind is that could wrap around and stitch just onto the other page, and then it's become, isn't that cute? Oh, I like that. So this is a cluster. This is what I'm saying is, let's put that there. And I'm not going to worry about stitching that, because when I stitch this on here, actually I could have it a little bit further. So this is going to be a cluster tab. How about that? Because this, just say, let me grab one of my other pages. Okay, just say this was the page behind. So these pages were together. Not, I mean, it wouldn't work on this one because that's there. So what I will do is, when I put it together, I might even extend that, but that would stitch around onto there. That's the theory. See that? So that becomes a cluster tab, and isn't that pretty? So what I'm thinking I might need to do with this, if I want to do that, is I might just add a little bit of something behind it so it can extend further. So I could add, but then that detracts away from the color of it. So maybe if I were to add that, what would happen? You've got to look at it. That could be it. Or maybe we could just go down the neutral road, grab a scrappy piece of old hemp. Yep, that's hemp, but that was tough. That was a hard rip. Oh, and I like, oh, no, that's a bit of fluff. I was going to say I like that red bit. Yes, this is what I'm going to attach that. And that is going to wrap around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same color thread. This is a tab. So we've got a cluster tab happening here. Remember that, clustery tab. I'm a very repetitive person. So we need to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pin it there, just so it stays. And I'm going to fold it already. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stitch through it. You might think I'm totally weird. This is going to hold on to it. I should have put my knot on the inside. I'm going to overcast it so it stays. And then when I want to put it on the next page, I'll just slot it over the page. Oh, look at that. I love that. See, that's just randomness at its best, I think. Just make it up. I had a comment on my latest it was funny, my latest envelope journal that I did, and I had stitched, had put all these envelopes together, and I stitched in the signatures in different compartments of the envelope, and a lady said to me, oh, I love this, what kind of, you know, I haven't seen that before, what kind of signature sewing in is that? And I said, I think that's what she was asking about that. And I said, there's no name for it. I made it up. Well, I did, 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but the stitching it into the envelopes, it just happened. It just happened like this cluster tab. It just happens. It's just happened. They do. I'm going to grab my thread. And I'm just going to do excuse me, thread, would you mind cooperating? Thank you. I am just going to do a little whippy stitch along here as well. Oh, it helps if you put a knot. Note to self, put a knot. Okay. So I've already stitched that so it folds over the, so I'm going to slot that. I'll show you in a second actually. I shouldn't just say that. I'm going to just whip along here and hold that all together as well. It's very random. And I'm going to put a knot. And it doesn't have to go on my next page, this one. As long as I've got one cluster on one of the 2 pages for this month, then that's fine. Cluster or tab. So this one can go on another one. I'll decide. I think I'll make just a little basket of them and decide. So that's like that. It can actually go that way as well. And then I've got this on the other side of a page. And then I could then go ahead and attach something like that to it. I could do that. I could attach it there like that, and then let's pretend it's going on this, just to give you an idea. So that would just, I've got my 2 pages together. I can slide that over, stitch it on both, and that's there. Just pretend that's not there, and then I could have that. I could attach that, but I could attach it afterwards too. I could attach that, or I could attach even something. Oh, that's it. I'm going to attach that. That's it. Got it. I might use red. I'm going to use red to attach that. This is what happens, you see. Just got to go with it. So much fun. If you let yourself go, like, sometimes, for Sass and I, we've got to do our videos. So sometimes for us, it's like there are other things in our life that sort of get in the way of the videos. So sometimes it's a bit more stressful for us to get them done because we need to get them done. But, when things sort of fall into place, it's wonderful. So I'm just going to whip it on one side. Oh, no, I might go down the other side as well. Might help if I do it straight. So it is a good stitch, that one, to use. See, I didn't pin it. It's dangerous not pinning things because you go crooked. Just remember that. If you don't pin it, you're going to go crooked. Well, you might. And then I won't stitch all the way round. I'll just leave, I won't leave this thread dangling off, but I think I'll remember because this thread hasn't been put away for quite a while. I'll leave it out so I know. I'm loving the colours. So we've got a cluster tab and we've got a cluster, which is also really a tab because it's going to stick out the side of the page. It is. Now what I'll do is just continue to here, and then when I put this on the page, I'll continue around the outside of the lace to stitch it onto the page. Yeah. And you see your cluster could keep on growing and growing and growing. Your cluster tab. Okay, so I think that's it. So now you know what to do with your tabs and your cluster. So you could make a tab. Maybe we should make another tab. Let me see. Do we have time? I think so. Right, just so if I wanted to make make a tab, I've got these bits. These are my ephemera kits. As you know, sometimes I put them onto fabric. So you could have, like if you're going to make a tab from that, you could have a nice long tab. It needs to fold, a tab goes over the page. Let's get the pages back. I mean, it's not like it's necessarily going on this page, but so you could have a long, Mum's like, I made a tab, it's too long, and I said, Mum, today she said it to me, I said, Mum, there's no tab police. Your tab can go right down the side of your page if you want, or your cluster. So yeah, it could go down the page, but I'm not going to make one that big. I'm actually going to tear off this other bit down here. Yep, so you need your little bits and pieces. And I think if you pull out your, if you pull out your little bits and pieces, I think it will happen for you. If you're starting off with big pieces, that's it. Well, that's when it's going to start becoming confusing, because you're not using big pieces. We're using little pieces. Can you see I just go in the same color direction every single time? I wanted to rip that. It's just not ripping because it's too small and it's hemp. I stamped that with the wine, you know, when you close your wine bottle. I mean, this is kind of like a cluster as well, really. It is. It's like a cluster. But I'm going to add another bit. I'm liking the colours. Of course I like the colours. They're my favourite colour combination. Reds, beige, ecru, and blue. What can I do? It just keeps on happening. I love this fabric. Oh, I love that fabric. I'm just going to tear a piece off. Hopefully I'm on screen, because I did zoom in, didn't I? Must remember that. I'm going to attach that one behind. So this is, I mean, I keep making cluster tabs. That's because that's how I do it. It's like, a cluster is like a little bit like a collage, really. Yeah, it's a bit like a collage is the best way. And then this is going to fold over. There's not enough colour happening there. It's good on that side. That side is good. Maybe I could put it that way. Oh yes, that way will work. Sideways. Okay, so then I would stitch those together. I don't know what I want to use. Probably red. Yeah, I'll just stitch those together. I've got a little bit of the border of the piece of ephemera there. I'll just trim that off. Stitch those together and then fold it over the edge of a page like that. Yeah, I think, oh, that's good. Look at that. And that is, I won't stitch it in this video, but that is a tab. You see? You could take a piece. I mean, the possibility that you can take a piece of that and stick it on there. Not stick it, stitch it. We're not sticking, we're stitching. We're not using any glue. We're stitching. No glue. There are glue police. No glue. Stitches. We need to do stitches. You know, you can add bits and pieces. So that's your tab. And I know Sarah made a tab in the first volume. I can't remember what episode it was. She did make the most beautiful tab, and she put she, the cat's mother, my sister, I think she put buttons on them as well. Let me open this beautiful bag of buttons that I received. You can embellish them to no end. You can put buttons on. You can put, oh look, you could even put a buckle on there if you wanted to. A buckle on your tab, but I won't do that. I'll use those for something else. Beautiful buttons. There. Needs to clean that button. Yep, so you can add buttons. You can add, you know, applique flower on your tab. Sarah's really good at doing that sort of thing, like layering it up and adding lots of things. I tend to keep mine more plain like that. But that's a tab. So we've got two clusters. One cluster that's going to go off the page like that, and one cluster that's going to wrap around 2 pages, and so it's going to decorate 2 pages. I love that. I have to remember that. And then this is what a tab would look like for me, but it's a collagey tab. A tab could also be, I mean, you think, is this woman ever going to be quiet? I mean, a tab could also be that on the edge. Oh, that's cute. Oh, well, that's a go as well. I'm going to do that. That's a good one. That could be you could stitch that, and that could go on top of your that's a tab that could go on top of your, what's it called? Your tag as well. That's cute. I'm going to do that one. See how you just play and things just happen. You just pick up pieces and you just do it. You really do. You just put them together like that. You know, something like that could be. You could have a tab. I mean, here I go again. You could have a tab like that, and then that. Excuse me. Let's just get our pages together, pretending that they were going to be, but it's not. That's not what's happening. But anyway, we're pretending. So you could have your tab like so. So then that could just simply be, oh, have it sticking out a little bit because it is a tab. So on that side, what we'll read, I mean, that's lovely, isn't it? Just simple. Keep it simple. If it's confusing to you, just keep it simple. You could, oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, hello. Oh, we'll pin that in there. So you could have a tab like that. Flip it over. Just say you've got one that's got a bit of space. Just say you've got a bit of space there. And you flip it over, and on this side of the tab, you could have a cluster happening. We could have, you see, I keep going with the red and blue. I can't stop myself. But you could, oh, that's wonderful. But I want to have a different colour. Let me see if I can get my groove going and go in here in my little basket. I know you can't see, but I could grab maybe green. Go into the green realm. Excuse me, green, come on. Grab a piece of this. I just found these. I don't even know. Someone sent me these, I'm sure. I'm sure you know who you are. Thank you so much. It's like, oh, you know what I don't like about this is it's stripes and stripes, even though they're diagonal stripes. Oh, well, I could go like that, I guess. No, I don't like that. I liked it how it was. Okay, we'll have to choose something else. Do I like... I see a red. Here comes the red. Although this red has a bit of green in it. It might be too big. Let's see. Oh, it tore off funny. That's okay. Put that there. And maybe, yeah, with a pop of red shooting out the side like that. And that's a cluster tab again. And I mean, you can have little, I mean, that's a very pretty tab. Very simple, very pretty, just with a lace. I won't use that again. Do I want green? I don't like all the stringy bits, so I pull those off. I have to cut that. I'm going into too much colour now. Oh, I quite like that. So that, I'm going to pin that. I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to stitch all of those. That's going to go there. Not on this block page, these two pages, but look. So tab, that's a tab. A cluster tab. Cluster tab on that side and just a tab on that side. So you see what I mean? So I'm going to keep these two options because I really like that. So what I did here was I did it on a long strip, and I'm going to rip that off. If it rips, yes it does, and then that will fold there. So that's that tab made like that. Got a cluster on one side and just a little embellishment on the other. And then there's that one, which I absolutely love too. So I'll stitch those. And I'm going to stitch that. That's a cute tab. That's a really cute tab. So there you go. So 2 clusters and multiple tabs, not all stitched. So I hope that was helpful. I'll put some photographs. Oh, you'll just see them with pins in, but just so you remember. Yep, and keep all your bits because they're useful. That's what I can, that's all I can say. Like I could, but then it's becoming more of a cluster tab, but you could have a little peekaboo of that fabric shooting out there like that too. I mean, I'm going to stop, otherwise I'll never go. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful, and I'll put some photographs at the end of the video. They won't be stitched because I don't have time to stitch them now. But at least you'll see the ideas. That's that one. And that's that one. Okay, so have a great weekend, and I will see you again soon. Bye.